Hello everyone, and welcome to my step-by-step process of creating this illustration of Wolf O'Donnell from the StarFox series. I will be going through my process, showing how I set up my sketches, how I color and shade the character, how I experiment with the tools of clipstudiopaint, and how I wrap it all up with background elements. Let's get started. The first step I do is sketching the character. I typically draw an initial sketch by hand and transfer it digitally before drawing it over in clipstudiopaint. I can add more details to the character and correct its pose. I often make tweaks and adjustments to the sketch to prepare it for the next phase, drawing the line art. The line art phase gives me clean lines for outlining the borders of the character and defines the overlap of the elements of the drawing. I like to manipulate the lines by adjusting the shape so they have a better flow and contour. What I like about drawing the lines is that I can change the thickness of the lines and the color to better add details to the character. Once I have the outlines the way I like them, I can begin coloring in the empty spaces. The coloring phase is where I differentiate different colors for different elements of the drawing. What I tend to do first is color in the entire character outline in the singular color, along with any groups of elements that share colors so that I can reference these components at a later time. I often start with flat colors that represent parts of the body, clothing, and accessories. By having multiple layers of colors, I can change how the colors overlap. This stage continues until all elements of the character are filled in with the color. This is also to prepare the next phase of shading the character. This step is often the longest step for me, but the most critical, and also the most fun. It allows me to try out new brushes that I either haven't used before or use much of. It is important to capture the right amount of shade and highlights so that character appears to have depth. Providing shine to elements such as metal also gives off a sense of texture. For this character, the main texture to simulate was fur. That is why I downloaded some free brushes to help. Check out the details of this video for links to these brushes. Sometimes during this step I redo some shading to get the look I'm going for. When I feel satisfied with the step, I move on to creating the background. The background can be anything, really. I thought a space-themed background for this character would be great to highlight the character's game of origin. I took a few attempts before settling on the background I felt satisfied with. And there you have it. That is my process for this illustration. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to be updated with new videos and content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Until next time.